Learn stories of success, avoid struggles they've met. Doctors of all kind come together to help you shine. So sit back, take it in, and integrate what you've been given on a doctorsperspective.net.
Welcome back to A Doctor's Perspective, the Minisode series.
Number 55.
We're going to talk about future outcomes. And while our futures are crazy with the coronavirus, I am offering the virtual visits. So if you haven't heard about that, it's telehealth. There's definitely an onslaught of people selling programs, but look, it is not that difficult to get started. If you want more information, like what platform to use or how to keep things HIPAA, let me know. drjustintrosclair.com/virtual visits. If you know someone who needs some help, patience-wise, sitting poorly at their house on the computer, whether they're watching TV or working, or just having to spend more time with their kids than usual on the floor, all those things can be helped. But let's discuss today future outcomes. Susie Welch has a 10-10-10 rule. I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but it's looking at your day 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 weeks, 10 months, 10 years down the road, right? And part of the thinking of your future is thinking about what you want. Now, sometimes we do have to, say, plan in our day times where we just don't do anything. Kind of be a little bit bored. And if you can do that, whether it's every day or once every 2 weeks or something, it helps you to reassess your priorities. Maybe you're bored a little bit, you're unplugging from your phone, and you just kind of sit and you think. Some people say, oh, it was in my shower that I created this idea. I came up with this fancy idea and then I had to implement it, right? So one of the things we can do when we're trying to reach goals in the future is called backcasting. Okay, so you're looking at it like all the goals that you ever had are met. So whatever that goal is you started with, that's a whole other episode of setting goals and things. But let's say you've already set those goals. Now you look back and how did you do it? What were the obstacles that you had to go through? Maybe did you have to get a degree? Did you have to gain experience? Did you have to go through some crappy jobs and gain the work experience so that you can then have the skills to take the next position or the next step? They also made a comment about premortems, is thinking about how it all could fail, all the issues that lie ahead. What are some of the obstacles and how could you beat them? If you're trying to do Amazon drop shipping as a side hustle, well, what happens, for instance, when coronavirus stops the chain? Did you think about that ahead of time? If so, you might have said, oh, well, the Philippines are open. Let me see how I can pivot to them. Or maybe at this point, you just go to another country in general and skip, China completely. But the point being, that can happen. If you did something or some customer reported you falsely and Amazon shuts down your account for a while, what do you do? Is there any other avenues that you can take to sell? Or have you ever thought of how to actually get out of the Amazon penalty box, right? So trying to fix all these different issues before they come about. But be careful because you can actually analyze to the point of paralysis and you just don't do anything and you give up. There's been plenty of people who have just jumped in and looking back 2 years later, maybe they were profitable, but they're like, wow, if I would have known all the things that I would have to have done, I maybe not would have done it. And so I guess you got to be careful with maybe overanalyzing and then stopping yourself from doing it. I guess you got to really have a passion to want to do it, right? It can still work. So you got the future casting, which you want to do, and then the back casting, which is working backwards to how to get to that goal, and then pre-mortem, trying to fix those obstacles. One of the things they said was, if you're trying to lose weight, try not to imagine yourself on the beach. Actually, think about all the skip desserts you're going to have to do, and you actually will be more likely to succeed. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So all those desserts for the next 3 months that you're going to have to skip so that you can look good on the beach. Focus on those desserts. Real interesting. All right. That's what I got for you today. All the show notes at adoctorsperspective.net/M55, including the transcripts. Let us know how we're doing. Write a 5-star review. Thanks again for taking a listen. See you next time.